Voting doesn't have to do with going to school and educating yourself and making yourself capable of earning. Vote is something that if you have made a mistake, you can change after 5 years. In the marriage, neither. Our report is very thorough in clearly stating that law alone is not of any use. And I think as sensitive people, we realize that about any law in India. We felt that it was wrong to have had it different from the start, because you're automatically telling girls that you need not carry on with your studies or in empowering yourself after 18, because then when you're ready for marriage and at least you finish school, then all you need to do is to run a home and produce children, which is a very unfair, silent message that has been going on. And in all the countries of the world where we've studied the ages, it may vary from 16 to 21. All of them still, whatever it may be, had the ages as equal. So we were really out of sync. The point is that it gives them a chance to go through college. Today, school up to the 12th class is not enough. If you have vocational training and then you're also taught to certain skills, even taught how to formulate a business plan and run a business on your computer, this is also what we have actually recommended. That girls must be able, assisted to prove that they can earn, so that one, if they're with their parents, they can still contribute to the household and not be a burden on those poor parents. And two, even after they get married, they are not so totally financially dependent on their husbands that they feel again caged. Most women today still get a kind of like pocket money to spend on the kitchen and the household. And if they want money, they have to save from that. A law on changing the age. The age is a law. The facilities that are provided at schools and for health are not laws. They are government infrastructure. And those infrastructure will follow the law. We felt that what we needed as components, which had to go along, was health, checking of health of young girls, better facilities that keep their health up to the mark and they don't get undernourished, and there is sanitary conditions in schools, and then in education, how young girls, particularly in backward areas, how they should be brought forward and somehow transportation arranged, scholarships arranged for them to reach school. So these are the kind of things which can't be put in a bill, obviously, but it becomes a part of then the administrative commitment to provide the infrastructure. It's like, I keep giving this example that you have a rule that a law about traffic or whatever. But if you don't have the red and green light, you don't have somebody there to check whether somebody is breaking the rule, and you just let everything be, naturally the rule will be broken or the law will be broken. And if you ask me seriously, today, even a 21-year-old boy is not fit to bring up a family. How many of them who have a free choice? I mean, there are those who will beta ko shadi kara do in the other areas where parents depend on their children to earn. In urban areas, they don't decide on their own at all. But which boy today can assure himself after the low quality of education that he normally gets and could not have possibly gone to college, and then to find a job right away where he can maintain himself, his wife, and a child after a year is very unrealistic. And if people think by suggesting that, why don't you, if you want to equalize, lower the age of the boy, can you imagine an 18-year-old boy today getting married? Well, voting doesn't have to do with going to school and educating yourself and making yourself capable of earning. Vote is something that if you have made a mistake, you can change after 5 years. In the marriage, neither. So that clearly cannot be the criteria that voting. You may not choose to vote at all, and in the same way, you need not marry at all, But it's not the same as voting. We have in our recommendations only listed the personal laws of each of the religious communities. We have never said they should be superseded. We have quoted a Supreme Court judgment which says in a particular case that because the law was 18, it said this law, that it will be 18, supersedes all personal laws. The Supreme Court judgment says that. So that is what we have quoted. And after that, I also like to point out that the Muslim personal law, for instance, it says puberty. Today, puberty can start at 11 and 12. But today I read a report of some minority leader. He said, even though that is our law, we don't normally get them married so early. And in fact, we have also quoted figures where the Muslim marriage age, both as the children themselves preferred and what is the reality, is usually around 21 or 22. So it's not that they have been disturbed in their personal law. It's a question of then following what you think is right. Unlike what the political class and the religious class are all saying, considering themselves the stakeholders, they are least stakeholders. The stakeholders are those whose lives are ahead of them. And when we say government should not decide age of marriage, governments all over the world have already decided. It has been said that it will not come into operation for a year till all these various campaigns and things and all are done. 1 year passes very quickly. So I would hope that irrespective of whatever happens, the government departments who are responsible for putting infrastructure into place for the things that I mentioned, they should do so anyway.